We talk about the Rockets and the Clippers, and you talked about earlier tonight Vernon Maxwell's injury, how critical that would be to the Rockets, but now the Clippers have an injury of concern because Ron Harper went down tonight.
Yeah, if Harper's not able to play or not able to play at a real high percentage, they're not going to have a chance in the series. I think the Rockets said it would be an even deal at best, and the Rockets said it'd just be too tough for him.
Yeah, he's got a sprained right knee. He'll have an MRI tomorrow. Let's see what's going on in that game. We're about midway through the fourth period. Bonus coverage from the Summit. Bill Worrell and Calvin Murphy.
In the Summit in Houston, Texas, it's the Houston Rockets 102, the Los Angeles Clippers 80. The Rockets led by 18 points in the second period, but the Clippers came back midway through the third and closed to within 5 points of Houston, but then the Rockets ran off 13 points in a row, and they lead it now by 22. Hakeem Olajuwon tonight. Listen to this line for Olajuwon. 28 points, 11 rebounds, 9 block shots, 4 steals, and 6 assists for Olajuwon. What a game he is having, and Olajuwon holds the record in the NBA for blocks along with Mark Eaton with 10, so he's 1 away from that. Sleepy Floyd in the game, off to Carl Herrera from 12, and the Rockets continue to pour it on. Vernon Maxwell is not playing tonight, of course. He has the broken wrist. Robert Horry played tonight. He is on the sidelines now with ice on his knee. Ron Harper sprained his knee and went out of the game in the third period. He will not play anymore in this game. So we don't know the status of Harper for the rest of the playoffs, as he took a bad spill in the second period on a knee he had injured several seasons ago. Scotty Brooks takes it inside on the miss. Williams clears it out to Mark Jackson. He is high with 24 points for the Clippers, and he's got 26. 4:34 and counting as the Rockets on their way to victory number 1 in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Game 2 will be here at the Summit Saturday night. Sleepy Floyd on the drive. Olajuwon is close to a triple-double if they will drive on him. He has 9 block shots, 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 blocks. If they'll take it down low, he might get number 10. Roberts takes it in, and a foul called on Hakeem.
Well, the Clippers had pulled to within 5 in the third period, but the Rockets about to put them away and take a 1-0 lead in that Western Conference first rounder. The Rockets 106-85 late in the fourth period. Coming up next on TNT, Game 1 of the Spurs-Blazers series. Game 2 of our doubleheader. We'll take you to Portland next.
Again, the City of Roses, and what should be the first of a very interesting series in the Western Conference between the San Antonio Spurs and the Portland Trail Blazers. We're at the Portland Memorial Coliseum. I'm Pete Van Weeren, along with Jack Evans, welcoming you to Portland. Should be a very interesting series. No doubt you've heard by now the big question of the day around Portland. Would Clyde Drexler play or would he not? Jack, he won't be playing. We all know that now. How about the preparations for these two teams? How do they differ without Clyde Drexler's availability?
Well, Pete, I think the key is the Trail Blazers have had to win all season, or to play all season, without Clyde in the lineup, and especially here in the last 11 or 12 games when they have been getting ready for the playoffs. They've won 9 of their last 12. Clyde has missed 10 of the last 12, so they are ready to play. On the other hand, the San Antonio Spurs, of course, they are preparing with or without him. They've seen him in the lineup when they played once this season. The other time they played, he has not been in, and they've won both ways, so I think they just want to come in, try to steal this first game here tonight and take away the home court advantage.
A little different philosophy looking at Game 1 from each of the coaches. Rick Adelman, for example, feels this first game is all important because if Portland does not win the first game, it could mean they may never get back here with a chance to win Game 5. But John Lucas looking at it somewhat differently.
Well, it's all about home court advantage this time of the year, and of course, John Lucas is saying to his team, hey, this is just one game, guys. We don't have to win this one. Of course, you have to say that when you don't have the home court advantage. And Rick, on the other hand, definitely he feels this is a key. He loses one of these here, it goes to San Antonio, and he in fact might not get back here. So he feels they have to win these two here in this building.
The one thing they both do agree on, the winner of this series is going to be the one that out-rebounds the other.
Yeah, if you look at what's happened over the course of this season, and really if you go back to the last time in the playoffs these two teams met, the team that won the Battle of the Boards has won the game. So if you want to take one factor in this series, it's going to have to be rebounding.
So game one of the best-of-5 series between the Portland Trail Blazers and the San Antonio Spurs just around the corner. As always, when it gets to be playoff time, it's also time for postseason awards to be handed out. And one of the very important ones, the Walter Kennedy Award, to be given tonight. Let's go to public address announcer Mike Stone.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please direct your attention to center court, where Kerry Eggers of the Oregonian and a member of Pro Basketball Writers Association of America will present the 1993 J. Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award to guard Terry Porter. The award is presented annually to an NBA player, a coach, or a trainer in recognition of their outstanding community service and charitable work. Congratulations, Terry. Thanks to Kerry Eggers and the Pro Basketball Writers Association of America. Join us in welcoming our Ford Fast Track team attendants, April Samples from Landmark Ford, Chase Francis from Gabriel Ford.
All the action of game one of this best-of-5 series coming your way from the Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon. Starting lineups and all the action right after this.
To a close game, about 2 minutes to play. Houston with a 110-88 lead over the Clippers. They're about to take a 1-0 lead. Earlier tonight, game one of our doubleheader, it was Boston 112-101 over Charlotte at the Garden, and Cleveland a 114-98 winner as the Cavs take a 1-0 lead over the New Jersey Nets. Coming right up on TNT, San Antonio and Portland. The Blazers playing without Clyde Drexler, taking on David Robinson and the Spurs. It's next on TNT.
Back to Memorial Coliseum, another sellout here in Portland, Oregon of over 12,000. They're building a new building that'll be ready in a couple of years, but in the meantime, this venerable old place serves them well. Now look at tonight's Jeep Eagle starting lineups for the San Antonio Spurs. Sean Elliott, Antoine Carr, the Admiral, David Robinson in the middle, Dale Ellis and Avery Johnson in the backcourt. The Blazers go with Jerome Kersey, Buck Williams, Mark Bryant, and it'll be Terry Porter and Rod Strickland. John Lucas, whose team went 39-22 after he took over. And that's about as slow as you'll see him move all night right now. That's pacing back and forth before this game's begin. And Rick Adelman in his 5th year now with the Portland Trail Blazers. It's been kind of a tough year for Rick Adelman. A recent loss of his father to add to some other problems that he had earlier in the year. And he hopes to get those Blazers going tonight here in front of the home folks. The officials you saw, Darrell Garrison, Hugh Hollins, Bernie Fryer, were set to get underway here. And Avery Johnson.
I think, Pete, right off the bat, you have to keep an eye right in the middle, as you would expect with David Robinson working against Mark Bryant.
And a good matchup here, too. Antoine Carr, Buck Williams. The rebound pulled away by Rod Strickland.
David Robinson is the guy that has had the most success against the Portland Trail Blazers, averaging about 26 points a game and about 14 rebounds in this series this season. So, of course, how Portland guards him will be a big factor.
Terry Porter with Elliot on him. He'll stop and take the jumper from the free throw line. The Blazers on the board. Terry Porter gets the first 2 of the night. Interesting comment by Rick Adelman this morning. Even if Clyde Drexler had been able to go, Rod Strickland was still going to be in that lineup.
He's been so much a factor, and the reason is he's been able to penetrate and create stuff. And, of course, they need that with Drexler out of the lineup.
Sean Elliott gets San Antonio on the board. His first 2 of the night. He averaged 17 a game during the regular season. Yeah, if Drexler had been able to play, he would have started in place of Kersey. Nice pass underneath. Ryan couldn't convert, though. Loose ball picked up by Robinson off to Avery Johnson.
When they moved Kersey out of the lineup, he responded very positively, and he's been effective coming off the bench. Strickland, when moved into the starting lineup, has done such a good job of creating, giving him that added bonus with Clyde Drexler out of the lineup.
And Rod Strickland bringing the ball down now. And Darrell Garrison blows the whistle. And we have a foul call on Avery Johnson, his first. You see how easily Houston handled the Clippers. Clippers, though, did come back a little bit in that 3rd quarter before Houston widened the lead again.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised about that score. I think that's going to be a very, very tough series, one that might go the entire 5.
Rod Strickland had to alter his shot because of good defense by Avery Johnson. Got it back, but a whistle from Hugh Hollins underneath.
Well, that's what I mean when I talk Rod Strickland and his ability to get to the paint and create stuff. Normally when he elevates that, he goes up looking for someone to pass it to. Antoine Carr picks up the foul, but that time Strickland had to shoot because he couldn't find anyone open.
Down low it comes to Buck Williams with Antoine Carr. They often run at plays at Antoine Carr, really trying to get him in foul trouble.
Well, he is such a big body down there on the low post, and if you look at Portland and their inside people, they just don't have anyone that's as physical as Antoine Carr. If they could get him out of the lineup, they feel it would be a lot easier for them to win this game.
Terry Porter, Antoine Carr a little late with the coverage. Rebound still loose, finally pulled away by Avery Johnson. Antoine Carr all alone. And an easy two for Antoine, and San Antonio has taken an early 4-2 lead. These two teams split their 4 meetings during the regular season. Home court team winning each time. Mark Bryant will take the outside jumper. Strickland kept it alive, but it's pulled away by Carr. Avery Johnson down to Dale Ellis. The turnover gives it right back to Portland. Strickland.
There it is right there.
To Jerome Kersey, but Kersey too strong off the glass with a whistle underneath.
Now there's the penetration I'm talking about right there with Rod Strickland. And Avery Johnson, of course, is the guy that's going to be responsible for keeping him out of the paint. But when he gets there, you watch how much he creates right here, and he has such ability to see the floor. He drew the defense, and there's the pass.
Jerome Kersey, only a 63% free throw shooter on the year, misses his first effort. He averaged 10.5 points. He was in and out of the starting lineup. 21 different starting lineup combinations employed by Rick Adelman this year, as he had to work through a lot of injuries.
Well, and what a difference that has made for this team. You look back over the last 3 seasons, when you talk about the Portland Trail Blazers, the one thing that you have to talk about is the fact they've been able to remain injury-free. They have missed more games between Drexler and Kersey this season than they have over the last 3 years.
Inside, David Robinson on the board, his first 2.
And that's the entire team I'm talking about.
A 6-3 San Antonio lead. Last time these two teams met in the playoffs, Rod Strickland with the ball now is wearing the other uniform.
Well, and that pass he made will never be forgotten. Down the stretch, he made the pass that led to the layup.
Good work underneath, and it pays off for Jerome Kersey, his 3rd point.
We'll have to keep an eye on the offensive board work this entire game. We've already mentioned to you the team that has won the boards has won the game.
Sean Elliott picks up his 4th point, and it's an 8-5 San Antonio lead. Portland just 2 of 8 from the field, but Rick Adelman said this morning something that interested me. He said, I don't worry too much about our shooting percentage. He said, we've won some games shooting 35-40%. As long as we play defense and rebound, we can run and beat anybody.
Yep.
5 points for Kersey. Of the first 7 scored by Portland, Spurs still up by 1.
Kind of thought you'd see San Antonio try to post up Elliot working against Porter. They haven't gone to that yet, but I know that's an option they'll try to use.
Dale Ellis tries the first 3-pointer of the night, and he nails it. He hit 40% from 3-point land during the regular season. He's on the board. It's a 4-point lead now for San Antonio. About 7:45 to go in this first quarter. Mark Bryant gets his first 2. Baseline jumper makes it 11-9 Spurs. Elliot had the ball stripped away, but a foul's going to be called under there. Or did he step out of bounds?
Well, I think the ball was tapped out as Elliott made the move along the baseline. I still think he'll try to get to the basket against Porter. You see him right here trying to go. Now Porter's going to use his quickness, get a hand on that one. But that's a matchup the Spurs will try to take advantage of.
I'll tell you what, if this guy gets his stroke going, watch out.
And he's been playing great here down the stretch.
He has been.
Last 5 games or so of the season, about 22 points a game.
Spurs now 6 of 8 from the field. They lead it by 4, 13-9 with 7:10 to go, first quarter. Bryant, strong move toward the hole, comes up short, right in the hands of Kersey, though. That play wasn't drawn up that way, but it worked out for him. Kersey has 7.
I wonder if they'll give Bryant an assist on that one. It looked it was a perfect pass.
Could either give him an assist or a shot attempt. Yeah. Up to the scorer's judgment. Kersey's made all 3 of his field goal efforts. 13-11. San Antonio up by 2 now. Avery Johnson. This is what he's been doing a lot of, getting into the paint and drawing the foul. John John Lucas has wanted him to do more of that, and it's been very successful. Rod Strickland called for the foul. We get a timeout with 6:55 to go in the first. Spurs up by 2, 6:55 to go in the first quarter. Of course, for the Portland Trail Blazers, this return trip to the playoffs, and they hope to take that additional step, getting to the finals last year, losing to Chicago. But we saw a much more relaxed ball club in practice this morning than we've seen the last couple of years. They're in a little different position this year.
Yeah, Pete, I don't know if you can tell a whole lot after watching one shoot-around, but I tell you, this team, the Portland team this morning, was more relaxed than I've seen them the last 2 or 3 years at this time of the year. And I think maybe you can get a good look at Clyde right there, who will not play, obviously, in this game tonight. But when you look at this team, maybe being the underdog might be the thing that they need to get them over the hump. I mean, they every year have been favored to win it over the last 3 years. But I think they like this underdog role, so to speak.
And they're an underdog, even though they won only 6 fewer games during the regular season this year with all those injuries than a year ago.
That's amazing. And, of course, the media in this town have gotten accustomed to winning and to winning easy. The 51 wins this year didn't come as easy as they have in the past years, and the whole team suffered for that.
Strickland in the paint. Early in his career, he was criticized for penetrating too deep. Rick Adelman now encourages him to do that because he said 9 times out of 10 he always finds the right man.
And he encourages him to leave the floor. Go on and elevate, he says, because he always seems to make things happen. Good defense there by Bryant. Got him across the arm. And I've talked about Strickland's ability to get into the paint and create. He sees the floor so well. And you saw him elevate. He can look at the basket when he does that. He can also look for his other people, and that's what he did on that play, getting the ball to Buck Williams. David, I'm surprised San Antonio has not gone to him that much in this game. Actually, that's his first shot attempt in this game. He was fouled on that shot. Actually, his second shot attempt.
Number 9 in the league in scoring this year. Number 9 in the league in rebounding. Number 5 in the league in block shots. And he has 4 points in the first quarter here. 16-13. A 3-point San Antonio lead. Now they'll apply a little bit of backcourt pressure as Porter walks it down.
Now that press designed more than anything else just to slow this the Portland offense down. They've been able to penetrate and get to the basket, and it's been mostly that guy.
And this ball foul is going to be calling Sean Elliott. He got him from behind, and Elliott picks up his second foul, the team's 4th. So John Lucas looking to his bench with Elliott in a little bit of early trouble with 2 fouls.
Elliot, he has been one of the reasons, his injury, I should say, has been one of the reasons San Antonio has struggled so much in the second half of the season, well, since the All-Star break.
Jerome Kersey having the hot first quarter for Portland. 9 points, 4 for 4 from the field. 16-15 now, Spurs by 1. Willie Anderson getting ready to check into the San Antonio lineup. Double team on Robinson, back to Johnson, over to Sean Elliott before Elliott got the shot away. A 3-second violation. Now it's Willie Anderson checking in for Sean Elliott, who has picked up a couple of early fouls. And the man with the headband, Cliff Robinson, candidate to be the outstanding 6th man in the league this year, has checked in for Portland.
I think it'd be hard to give it to anyone else this year. Boy, what a factor he has been coming off the bench for this team.
Really, if it wasn't for Cliff Robinson stepping up his game with all the injuries this year, Portland wouldn't be where they are right now.
Yeah, sometimes injuries, you just have to look for the positives in them. And one of the positives with Clyde Drexler been hurt so much this year as the explosion from Cliff Robinson that you've seen here in Portland.
Barry Porter short, Willie Anderson the rebound. Off to Avery Johnson. Antoine Carr, nobody on him.
Yeah, you have to think you got to give Antoine that shot because when he gets the ball down low, you know you're going to hurt.
Cliff Robinson trying to get it going from outside. You see Strickland out hustle Antoine Carr there.
He's such a competitor.
Pays off in 2 points for Terry Porter. 4th assist for Rod Strickland. And the Blazers have a 1-point lead. Robinson finds a crack in that offense.
Well, if they can get any offense at all, actually any help on both ends of the floor, but they definitely need something from him on the offensive end. He missed 39 games this year with those shin problems.
I'll tell you what, we're seeing some tough defense played on the inside tonight for both sides. Nothing easy underneath for either team. Stolen by Kersey. Porter for three. He was 7th in the league in three-point shooting, 41%. And he has 7 in his first quarter, 20-18. Blazers up by 2. Timeout, San Antonio. Blazers on a 7-2 run have taken a 2-point lead, and Terry Porter has been one of the keys in this run, this three-pointer.
Yeah, and it's still Rod Strickland that right now is creating shots for everyone on the team, but of course, that shot right there by the guy you're looking at, Terry Porter, definitely because of his ability to shoot the ball from behind the three-point line. As you know, he finished second in the shootout during the All-Star weekend.
And those 5 offensive boards have led to 9 second-chance points for Portland. San Antonio only has 1 second-chance point. Rebounding, it'll be the difference. That's what both coaches said, and so far, that's paying off. Kevin Duckworth has checked in there. He pulls one down.
Terry Cummins also in the lineup. Oh, great block by David Robinson.
David Robinson from behind on Buck Williams.
David's going to get the foul on that one, but boy, he went after the ball.
There.
Yeah, let's look at it right here again, and you'll see how he comes over to help out here. And I guess got him down low with the body, got some arm also.
Yeah, there was some contact there, shoulder to shoulder, so good call. And Buck Williams goes to the line. Buck, sort of the forgotten man in the offense.
Yeah, but he's still
steady. Don't run much for him, but he still pulls away those 9 rebounds a game, still pulls away those 9-10 points a game. Still sets those picks, still plays defense.
Well, every team in the league would love to have a Buck Williams because he's a guy that just goes about his business every night, doesn't mind not being called on to score a lot of points. He sets the screens, it frees up everyone, he gets to the boards, does all those little things that keeps you on top year after year.
A 3-point lead, the biggest that Portland's had so far in the first quarter. Avery Johnson had it tipped away by Porter, and good defense by Terry Porter caused Avery Johnson to turn the ball over. The one disadvantage Avery has is a little bit of a size disadvantage when he gets up against a guy like Porter.
Yeah, I think you're right. And when you look over at the San Antonio bench, if John Lucas decides to bring Avery Johnson out of there, you have to wonder which guy he's going to come with that can match the quickness of Rod Strickland.
Mario Elliott's checked into the lineup now, replacing Porter.
Loose ball.
And Robinson has gotten off to an uncharacteristically slow start. He's 0 for 4 from the field. Came in, I think, and shot a couple of shots from the outside as soon as he stepped on the floor, and maybe didn't have a chance to get his confidence up by running up and down a few times.
Barry Cummings just back from that knee surgery. Trying to beat the shot clock as Willie Anderson, rebound pulled away by J.R. Reed. Out to Terry Cummings, still wearing that bulky brace. Boy, you can really
see.
The
big brace.
That's got to be tough to play with. Robinson drawing a lot of attention naturally. Avery Johnson left for the outside jumper. That's what the strategy is. Put the pressure on Robinson. Leave Avery Johnson alone for those outside jumpers if he wants to take them. They don't feel he can make them.
Well, as is the case with most teams San Antonio plays against, they will double team with Avery Johnson's man to try to force him to take some shots. I tell you one thing, though, about Avery Johnson. Here's a guy that, since John Lucas has taken over this team, has upped his points per game to about 11, 12 points a game. He also has been shooting 50, 51%. And maybe the biggest kept secret on this San Antonio team is the fact that Avery Johnson can, in fact, knock some shots down from the outside.
Vinny Del Negro in now to replace Avery Johnson. John Lucas going to have a word with him. John Lucas said that when they were both riding the bench with the Seattle Supersonics, they did a lot of talking so that Avery understands a lot about what John's trying to do as a coach.
Man, what a guy to learn from if you're Avery Johnson. One of the best point guards ever to play the league, especially when you consider running a club and being a coach on the floor. Lucas was about the best at it.
Willie Anderson nowhere to go with that one. A fortunate bounce to Del Negro. Now over to J.R. Reed. The outside jumper, no. The rebound tipped by Willie Anderson. And the loose ball foul is going to be called on Mario Elliott is first. Want you to stay tuned to TNT for Inside the NBA with Fred Hickman, Vince Cellini. They'll take a look at all the scores and highlights of the first night of NBA playoff action, and also a preview of tomorrow night's action. Another opening night for the Bulls, Michael Jordan. That's coming up right after our game, right here on TNT. 22-18, a 4-point Portland lead. Cummings couldn't get the jumper to go. Kevin Duckworth the rebound. After Rod Strickland, the break for the Trailblazers, trying to finish it. Mario Elliott. Great defense there by Terry Cummings.
Well, that's why they brought him back right there. It gives them another guy that can battle on the boards, relieve some of the pressure on David Robinson.
Spurs have only scored 2 points in the last 4.5 minutes in this first quarter.
And I think with this lineup on the floor, you really have to look more at David Robinson. Now, he got the ball that time. There was a foul away from the ball.
And Duckworth called for his first.
But I think you really have to look at David down there, force the double team, and hope that you can get some people around him to knock down some shots from the outside.
A very quiet quarter for David Robinson. J.R. Reid trying to get on the board for the first time. Hasn't yet. 76% during the regular season. J.R. averaging 9.5 points, 5.5 rebounds a game. And he missed a both. Spurs still only 2 points in the last 4.5. Going on 5 minutes now. And the ball belongs to Portland.
JR's not going to get any better look at the basket than that, but you have to like his hustle. No one went for that rebound off the missed free throw. He just kind of scooped up the ball, got to the basket. I think he was looking for someone to come and make a block attempt at it, and it was an easier shot than he thought it was going to be. Now, this is a guy for Portland that really needs to play big.
And so far in this first quarter, he's been very active, which is what Rick Adams is looking for. He doesn't really care if Kevin Duckworth scores a lot. He just wants him to be active.
Yeah, and the other thing that Kevin can do is put that big body on David Robinson, make him work hard, and of course you would think that by Duckworth leaning on him as many minutes as possible, it just served to wear David down more and more.
Kevin alternating between starting and coming off the bench this year. You see the numbers he put together.
Well, I talked about the way Jerome Kersey reacted to being benched earlier in the season. Kevin Duckworth responded just the opposite way. He kind of went into a shell, didn't like the lesser responsibility. Kersey, on the other hand, really stepped up his play and got big and earned a spot back.
Every time David Robinson touches the ball, he draws a triple team. This time, Buck Williams on single coverage, and that is 9 straight field goal misses, 10 straight for the San Antonio Spurs, 11 straight. And the rebound comes off in the corner to Mario Elliott.
There he is to the basket again. Oh, that's that quickness.
His first basket of the night, but he's been the difference in this first quarter. It's 26-18 now.
Well, I talked about who John Lucas would come off the bench with that could match the quickness. There's just no one over there with Avery Johnson out of the lineup. Vinny Del Negro is the guy that's going to have to do it right now.
A 13-2 Portland run. Del Negro hits the outside jumper, his first 2 of the night. And that makes it 26-20. But the difference in this quarter has been the play of Rod Strickland. He's only scored 1 basket.
Yeah, but I think
5 assists.
Yeah, about 5 assists, and then you think about a couple offensive rebounds he's gotten. Everything seems to be working well for him.
And this time it doesn't work going into the paint. David Robinson takes the ball away over to J.R. Reid, to Terry Cummings. Cummings trying to finish it and beat the clock, and they miss yet another attempt. 13 straight field goal attempt misses by the San Antonio Spurs as the first quarter winds down. The Portland Trailblazers lead at 26-20.
Watch this penetration once again to the paint. This time he takes it himself. That's what he wants to do more.
Memorial Coliseum, where after 1 here in Portland, it's 26-20. Pete Van Weer and Jack Gibbons with you. We had a great example, Jack, of the lack of mobility left by Terry Cummings. Now watch this as he tries to finish this layup at the end of the quarter.
Well, you'll see him right here. He actually goes up off the wrong leg here trying to make that layup, and we've talked about that, about his knee problems. Of course, he's made a comeback in a season where people didn't expect him to come back at all, but you see that big brace he's wearing on that right knee. He should have gone up off of that right leg for that layup. Instead, he didn't feel comfortable doing it, went off on the other knee, and just could not explode, get up to the basket, and caused him to miss that one.
He only played in 8 games down the stretch. There's a steal by J.R. Reid from Cliff Robinson off to Del Negro. Del Negro's got Cummings on a wing. That's the first Portland turnover of the game. Now Cummings down low on Robinson.
Now that's a nice shot. You see the difference right there is he really didn't have to move a whole lot. He just kind of made the quick move, quick spin to the baseline side and was able to elevate to make that jump shot.
Duckworth leaning in on Robinson. Going to work on the Admiral. And he's going to be called for the travel.
You know, you still can't feel real bad about that turnover right there by Duckworth because he made it, making the strong move to the basket, the aggressive move to the basket, and that's what Rick Adelman needs from him.
As you look at the San Antonio Spurs, the players on this team have 218 games worth of playoff experience. The players on the Portland Trailblazers have 518 games of playoff experience. A 300-game difference.
Now that's yet another reason, and Strickland gets to the basket again.
But he's been the story early.
Yeah, and talking about that playoff experience, that's another reason why the Spurs wanted to bring Terry Cummings back, because of the experience that he brings him.
Del Negro looking for the Admiral. David just 1 of 5 from the field underneath the Cummings. Cummings going up. Good defense played by Cliff Robinson. The ball out of bounds. It belongs to the Blazers. Strickland, Robinson, Ely, Duckworth, and Bryant in there for Portland. Cliff Robinson working on Reed. Nice pass underneath Bryant. Bryant's going to take the baseline shot and make it. Mark Bryant's fourth point, an 8-point lead now for Portland.
Yeah, when David's not working on the offensive end of the floor, his offense is not going. That gives Portland a whole lot more confidence taking the ball to him when he's on defense, because you just can't imagine that he's going to be as aggressive as if he would if his offense is working.
They get it back to J.R. Reed. And as he's getting toward the basket, they're going to call the offensive foul on J.R. his first. And not much going San Antonio's way right now.
Well, and especially from the people on the inside. And that's where they count on the positions that they count on for so much of their offense.
Rebounding about even right now. Portland has pulled down 13, and San Antonio's pulled down 12. But Rod Strickland's versatility, handling the ball, passing the ball, and scoring has been the difference so far in this quarter. Cliff Robinson couldn't get the outside jumper to fall. Terry Cummings the rebound. Cliff is now 0 for 5 from the field.
You just have to keep giving him the ball, giving him a chance to go.
And the whistle away from the ball, and the foul's going to be called on Mark Bryant. It is his second. And we've got a timeout with 9:35 to go in the half. Blazers leading it 30-22. Welcome back to Portland, where the Blazers have an 8-point lead in Game 1 of this series with San Antonio.
You'll see how physical it is down there. First Bryant pushes, then David kind of hooks around a little bit. Bryant pushes again, and Portland trying to put as much pressure on David Robinson as possible. They know they have to keep him under control, trying to keep him from getting going, and you see what has happened because of that. The double teams on David Robinson were not there in the first 8 minutes or so of the game. Now they have been there. They're forcing the San Antonio team to shoot from the outside. They have not been able to knock the shots down since those first 8 minutes.
Sean Elliott's checked back in for the Spurs. David Robinson, 1 for 6 now from the field. Cliff Robinson the rebound. And the Blazers can open up a double-digit lead here. Gary Porter into the paint outside Duckworth. Hands the ball to Mario Ellie. Mario Ellie back outside. Another 3-point attempt by Porter. He's hit 2 of those. He's in double figures with 10. Portland leads by 11. The Blazers, in the last 8 or 9 minutes, simply just outplaying every aspect of the game against the San Antonio club.
Well, as I say, when your offense is working, I mean, it just gives you confidence in all phases of the game. You can now come a little bit more aggressive defensively. You can shoot the gap. You can leave your men to help out on someone else, and you force shots like that.
And the crowd really getting into it now here in Portland.
First team foul, Spurs.
I want to remind you, at the conclusion of tonight's game, Jack and I will be selecting the Budweiser player of the game.
Return for San Antonio.
Avery Johnson's checked back into the Spurs lineup now. 8.5 minutes to go, first half.
Well, you just have to get a little more quickness now that Strickland is out of there, though.
Kevin Duckworth's first field goal. He has 4 points in the night. 35-22. 9 straight points scored by the Blazers.
Well, you have to look right now at this lineup on the floor for San Antonio, and you just have to get Sean Elliott more involved in the offense. He's going to have to be the guy right now.
Willie Anderson tries the baseline jumper. That is only the 4th point in this quarter scored by San Antonio. That's 35-24 Blazers.
Well, see, David Robinson is out of there now. Willie Anderson, you have to think, I mean, you would like to get some offense from him, but he really is trying to get back in shape. Antoine Carr now back on the floor. They'll double team him now as if he were David Robinson and try to get the same kind of success.
Look out as Kevin Duckworth comes racing in the lane. Contact, but no whistle.
And both coaches complaining about why the whistle was not blown there as J.R. Reed tried to draw the charge.
Willie Anderson.
Sean is the guy that's got to get going.
Yeah, he can shoot it from out there, but he's not been able to get that touch going yet tonight either. Elliot with only 4 points. He got those very early in the game. Then he picked up a couple of quick fouls, had to sit down early.
Well, the other thing that Elliot give you offense, when he's giving you offense, the other thing that does, of course, is open it up for David Robinson on the inside and the other inside people.
Look for Dale Ellis to check back in pretty soon, see if he can't get that stroke of his going.
Well, I know Cliff Robinson is just right now shaking his head and wondering what in the world's going on here because
he's 0 for 6 from the field.
And he's just not used to playing that way.
Another 3, but this one wouldn't go. Elliot keeps it alive for Cliff Robinson.
I think the key for Robinson right now is to keep working and make sure he gets a high percentage shot here.
Avery Johnson got a hand on that one. 16 left in the shot clock when play resumes. 6:37 left in the half when play resumes. The defense of the Portland Trail Blazers doing it to San Antonio so far in game 1. It's a 35-24 Portland lead, and this is just night number 1 of NBA playoff action on TNT. Another doubleheader tomorrow night. Michael Jordan will play host to the Atlanta Hawks, game 1 of their best-of-5 series. And in game 2 tomorrow night, it'll be the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. A little bit of a difference this year. Phoenix has the home court advantage.
And they have it all the way through.
They do.
Feel like they can ride that all the way to the championship also. And, of course, no one wants that anymore than Mr. Charles Barkley, Sir Charles.
Duckworth bumps into Robinson, bumps into him again. No whistle. Antoine Carr pulls away the loose ball. Dale Ellis has checked back in for San Antonio along with Robinson, Elliott, Antoine Carr, and Avery Johnson. Big lineup out there now for Portland with Duckworth, Robinson.
Now, what San Antonio is trying to do now, because of the double teams on David, is bring him outside and use him as a passer now. But still, with San Antonio not making any shots from the outside, that Portland defense just collapsing back there and forcing the shots, the more difficult shots.
And Cliff Robinson just can't get it going. He is now 0 for 7 from the field.
And I think he's going to continue to miss in a game like this until he gets something going towards the basket, so that if he misses the shot, he could get fouled and get to the free throw line.
They get the ball down low to the Admiral. Once again, he comes up short. He is now 1 for 8 from the field. Still has just those 3 points he got in the first quarter. 35-24, Terry Porter makes him pay on the other end. He has 12 points. And it's a 13-point Portland lead. The Spurs have still scored only 4 points in this entire second quarter, and we only got about 5:10 to go.
Well, that's a foul on Porter trying to draw the charge. I think one key to what is happening to David Robinson right now is the success Duckworth is having playing against him. David's trying to move Duckworth, and because of Duckworth's big body, he's just not able to get to the hole against him.
And that's what Rick Adelman was talking about when he said he doesn't really care how much Kevin Duckworth scores. He just wants him to be aggressive out there.
And I think these numbers tonight out of Duckworth and Bryant would be real good for Portland when you're working against David Robinson. So far in this game, though, Portland heavily on top in the matchup at the center position.
5 minutes to go, first half, 37-24. Ellis from outside over Duckworth. Rebound comes out deep to Terry Porter. 3-on-1 break, Duckworth to finish.
You just have to love that from the big guy right there. He put the pressure on Dale Ellis from the corner in the jump shot and just sprinted down the floor, beat David Robinson for the dunk.
A very frustrated San Antonio team calls another timeout. Another 13-2 Portland run. And they are up now 39-24 with 4:44 to go in the half.
And you see the Portland Trailblazers here now with a 15-point lead. A lot of it has to do with Kevin Duckworth. You'll see Duckworth right there on your screen. Ellis is going to come around the baseline here to try to get the screen for the jump shot. Duckworth will step out, guard him, and then you'll see him sprint down the floor and beat David Robinson back. Now you'll watch it right here. There's the double team. Now watch the pressure on Dale Ellis. Now that's one reason why the Spurs have not been able to make shots from the outside. Then he sprints, and you see the reward here to the big fella for playing the defense and then getting out on the break. That forces yet another timeout by San Antonio.
Every coach preaches that. When you get a good play made defensively, reward the man in the fast break. If you can't, get the ball to him so he can score on the other end.
Keeps him active.
Duckworth 6 points, 3 rebounds since coming off the bench. Rick Adelman told us he can tell very early on in the game whether it's going to be a big night for Kevin Duckworth or not. And it looks like right now it might be. 39-24, 15-point lead. Strickland had the ball tipped away by David Robinson. Tell you what, if your name is Robinson, it's not much of a night. Cliff is 0 for 7. David 1 for 8 from the field.
I think one problem that Rick Adelman had in trying to get Duckworth to understand what a big game from him means is that he had to try to take the offensive mode out of the mind of Duckworth and make him understand that he needs the big body, the rebounding, the block shots, setting the screens, the little things that you get from that position, not necessarily the points to have a big game.
Set the pick there for Terry Porter, but the basket wouldn't fall. Jerome Kersey pulls away the rebound. Blazers winning the battle of the boards as well. Good defense there by David Robinson. Loose ball picked up by Willie Anderson. Sean Elliott feeds back to Willie Anderson. Willie Anderson on the board.
Now that's the Willie Anderson we saw a lot his first couple of years in the NBA before those shin injuries. Had 3 operations on his shins. Well, and that pretty much slowed him down, as you can imagine. Missed 39 ball games, played in just 38.
That was only the 6th point of the quarter scored by the Spurs with 3:40 remaining. Another turnover by Portland. Dale Ellis has Anderson on the wing. Sean Elliott back underneath to Willie Anderson. Back to Sean Elliott.
Well, you looked at the break that time. It just did not look smooth at all. The balance was not there.
It looked like they kept looking at each other to decide
who's going to take the shot.
Take the shot. You're right.
Somebody else take it. When your offense is struggling, you don't want to take that shot.
And that gave Portland all the time they needed to get back and disrupt it. They got the ball back up by 13. Buck Williams, look at him fight his way in there against Antoine Carr. And Antoine Carr has the foul called against him for Antoine. That's his second. Coming up at halftime, our Reebok halftime report, Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studios. With Don Nelson, head coach of the Golden State Warriors, we'll have a recap of Game 1 between Charlotte and Boston, along with scores and highlights of the Nets Cavaliers and the LA Clippers Rockets series. That's all coming up on the Reebok halftime report.
There's one of those Robinsons that you mentioned is struggling in this ball game. Cliff 0 for 7. Very much unlike the kind of year he has had.
Yeah, he's been their number 2 scorer all year long, averaging 19 points a game. Checking in for the first time tonight, Lloyd Daniels. Buck Williams now at 4 points.
Well, big backcourt right now for San Antonio. Willie Anderson handling the ball against Rod Strickland.
John Lick is trying all sorts of different combinations to try to get something going offensively. David Robinson with the putback there. It's only a second field goal, though. He's 2 for 9 from the field now. Has 5 points. It's a 12-point lead for the Blazers. 2:40 remaining in the half.
Robinson still relying on that outside jump shot. I still think he has to get something going towards the basket.
And Rod Strickland picks the pocket of Daniels. Wire to wire, comes up short. Rebound kept alive by Cliff Robinson, pulled away by Sean Elliott. And as we close in on the 2-minute mark, San Antonio tries to close in on the Blazers. They're down by 12, and they're going to get an offensive foul call against Antoine Carr there. Buck Williams hitting the deck. Carr picks up his third, and that's exactly what we talked about earlier, trying to get him in foul trouble.
Well, he has to understand here he's playing against one of the best defensive players at that position. Buck Williams, of course, has the experience. He's been there. He's played against all of them, and he finds a way to usually win that battle.
We have 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. 40-28, a 12-point Portland lead. Jerome Kersey makes the move on Daniels. Daniels will be called for the foul. He is first.
Lloyd Daniels is first.
J.R. Reed checking in. And Antoine Carr will sit down for San Antonio. Jerome Kersey, who really got the Blazers turned around in the first quarter. Remember, their first 2 or 3 minutes, they couldn't hit much of anything. Then Kersey got it going. All 9 of those points came in quarter number 1.
Well, if you look at this game, it's been really, you can look at the matchups pretty much this entire game and see how the teams have tried to attack each other. And for San Antonio, the matchups just simply have not gone their favor, and you have to start right in the middle with David Robinson working against Bryant and working against Duckworth.
You know, we've talked about San Antonio only scoring 8 points in the quarter. The Blazers have only scored 15. Robinson with that double team again, almost threw it away. Daniels open. They've got to get somebody hitting that outside shot when they draw the double team on David Robinson. Maybe Daniels will be that guy. 41-30. An 11-point lead for the Blazers.
Both coaches coming into this series had a real concern about the lapses that both of these teams seem to go against. Of course, you know the Portland history as far as the lapses are concerned. John Lucas has the same concerns with the San Antonio
team. That was interesting this morning. He said that his team will go into little 1- and 2-minute spells where they seem to forget everything they've been taught.
Right.
And Rick Adelman's talked about that for years with his club, saying that no matter what kind of a lead they get, they always seem to find a way to let the other team back in it.
And you've definitely seen it with the San Antonio team. I think Portland has done a pretty decent job of avoiding the lapses so far in this game.
43-30, a 13-point lead with just over a minute to go. J.R. Reed along the baseline. Willie Anderson draws the double, nowhere to go, and then he finds Daniels. Daniels hits 2 in a row.
Good-looking rookie he is.
It is 43-32. They've tried a lot of people, the Spurs have, trying to get somebody warm from outside. Maybe they finally found one here with Daniels.
Lloyd Daniels foul, his second.
Call for his second personal this time.
2 minutes.
Our Reebok halftime report. Don Nelson, Ernie Johnson Jr. standing by, back in Atlanta.
20-second timeout.
And a 20-second timeout's going to be called here by Portland with 51.2 seconds remaining in the first half. You know, even though both these clubs like to score, Jack, it interested me that when you look at the season series between these two, they were low-scoring ball games.
Well, because both teams rely so heavily on their defense, and I think Rick Adelman made that point that he doesn't care how many points they score, just as long as they do the job defensively against San Antonio. As I mentioned, they double team so often against David Robinson and Antoine Carr down low. If the San Antonio Spurs are not making the shots from the outside, it's obviously going to be a very, very low-scoring game, and you see the numbers right here.
Interesting that Portland was able to win 2 of those games, shooting only 42% over the 4-game series. They out-rebounded them by 4, and very few turnovers. Tonight, the shooting not nearly as good as it was during the regular season. San Antonio shooting just 38%, Portland just 40%. Spurs have turned the ball over twice as much as the Blazers have. And as we resume action, Jerome Kersey at the line. He's 2 for 4 from the line tonight. 2 for 5. The free throw shooting has not been all that good on either side tonight. San Antonio is 3 out of 6. Portland now 7 out of 14. That's 50% aside.
Well, that's the one thing that you have to have during this time of the year because of all the close ball games. You want your free throw shooting to be strong.
That's 11 points now for Kersey, 44-32. Some backcourt pressure applied by Portland. Daniels, is he still hot? Nope, not this time. Too strong. Strickland the rebound. Blazers on the run. 4-on-3 break. Kersey finishes it. 13 points for Kersey, a 14-point Blazer lead.
And you have to wonder if John Lucas wanted that quick shot from the outside by Daniels.
Another one. After making his first 2, he's missed his last 2. Strickland keeps it alive, but it belongs to San Antonio. .4 seconds remaining in the half. And the Trailblazers have really dominated despite the absence of that man, Clyde Drexler. He practiced yesterday, thought he was going to be able to play tonight, but it acted up on him. That hamstring did again at the shoot-around this morning. In fact, he never even made it to the shoot-around. He went in for treatment. It was hurting him when he got here. And he came out and announced himself that he was not going to be able to go tonight. He only played in 8 of the last 31 games the Blazers played in, and he re-aggravated that injury twice, so he wants to be careful about coming back too soon. Avery Johnson along the baseline, and he was able to draw the foul.
Yeah, Rod Strickland got him on the drive. In talking about Portland playing without Clyde Drexler, as I say, they played 11 of the final 12 games without Clyde. And that one game that Clyde played, it was 7 minutes against this San Antonio team. He played just 7 minutes in that game, felt the hamstring start to give, decided that he would not try to push it and take the chance of hurting him more.
Another 20-second timeouts being taken here. I think the concern is about the clock. John Lucas thinks there should be more time left on the clock, which shows only 1.3 seconds remaining. They were complaining to the officials about that. Now Daryl Garrettson has called the other two officials over and is heading over toward the timekeeper. We may get a little more time set on that clock.
Well, Lucas sent one of his assistants out there to complain and to try to get them to add just a little bit. Of course, he wanted to draw up the final play. And they do put it now back up to 2.6 seconds.
And now Rick Adelwood says, hey, what's the story here? I liked it at 1.3.
Yeah.
Amazing how that little time, 1.3 second difference, can make such a difference.
Well, when you can score 7 points in 3.7 seconds, as the Phoenix Suns did here in Portland just a few days ago, you know that a lot can be done in very little time in this league.
It'll be inbounded by Willie Anderson, trying to get it into Robinson. Look at the attention he draws. Avery Johnson will have to try to make the outside jumper. He does.
And that's the guy that does count. And that's the guy that can't shoot from the outside under pressure.
But still a very impressive performance for Rick Adelman's Portland Trailblazers, who started off a little slowly in the first 2 or 3 minutes of this game, but totally outplayed San Antonio the rest of the way. It's 46-34. Ernie and Don Nelson will be along with our Reebok halftime report right after this.
By a dozen at the half. This is the Reebok halftime report. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta, along with Golden State head coach Don Nelson. And the San Antonio team, man, 34 points in the first half. That's a franchise playoff low.
They started out doing a decent job, and they went to their bench and they got absolutely nothing. Reed was awful. Del Negro was awful. Anderson was awful. And then it just hurts me when I watch Terry Cummings, who's a great, great player, having to play in a league and a half and just not being able to do very much.
So the word kind of summing up the San Antonio performance would be awful at this point. 34 points in the first half. They're down 46-34. Elsewhere in the Western Conference, the Clippers and the Rockets played tonight. The Rockets beat them every time in the regular season. Big factor, though, Vernon Maxwell not in the Rocket lineup, and now the Clippers get an injury, too. Ron Harper, watch the right leg, up against the backboard support, and he sprains the right knee.
And that was his operation 2 years ago.
He had the anterior cruciate ligament. This game was almost a blowout till the Clippers came back, cut it to 5, and then Houston asserts itself. Look at Hakeem Olajuwon, part of a 13-0 run, and on the defensive end, the guy's a giant.
One block after the other. He led the league this year in block shots, and he's going to tune it up, if anything, during the playoffs.
Just your basic night at the office for Hakeem Olajuwon. 28 points, 11 boards, 9 blocks, 6 assists, 4 steals. Aside from that, he didn't do anything on the night. Houston 117-94 as they knock off the LA Clippers in Game 1 of that Western Conference first round best-of-5. And again, the story as far as the Clippers go, Ron Harper sprains the right knee. He'll have an MRI tomorrow. Now, what does that mean for Larry Brown now if Harper can't go?
Well, what that does, when Harper is out, it forces Larry Brown to go with some funny lineups. And one of the funny lineups is the hefty lineup, I'll call it, to be kind. And you'll see that Stanley Roberts and John Williams have to play together. Now, they're in this area right down here that you're going to watch the two of them play, and let's just let her roll a little bit and see. It starts out the low block. Thorpe is going to post up. He kicks it back out, and he's going to run the screen and roll. Now, John Williams is supposed to cover this screen and roll, which he does an adequate job. But here's Roberts on the weak side. His job is to pick up the roll man, Thorpe. And you can see that if you're wondering where the beef is, it's in the Clipper uniforms.
This guy's tipping the scales about 290 and 295. Here's the summary of that Houston game with the Clippers game 1. Winston Garland, 12 points, 9 assists. He's given Rudy T some pretty good minutes as of late. And folks, when you shoot 63% from the field, you're probably going to win a lot of those games, especially when the Clippers shoot 41%. Meantime, in the Eastern Conference, the winners tonight, the Celtics and the Cavs. We'll look at those highlights and the insights of Nelly when we come back. Struggling in Game 1 at Portland. Blazers with a 46-34 lead as the Reebok halftime report continues. Earlier tonight, Game 1 of our opening night doubleheader, the Charlotte Hornets and the Boston Celtics. Boston won this thing by 11 at Boston Garden, but some concern as far as Reggie Lewis goes. That was a bizarre scene tonight.
Yeah, let's hope that it's nothing serious. We'll take a look at it here, and I hope he just missed his pregame meal, and there was nothing serious, but he just passed out right on the court, and of course you always worry when something like that happens.
Left side of your screen, he's going to undergo some tests tomorrow. We'll see how he's doing. Elsewhere, as far as this game goes, look at D. Brown.
Look, man, Mom, 2 hands.
That's saying something to get up and swat one away two-handed. And here's Reggie Lewis coming back from that feigning spell. Misses, gets his own rebound, pops it back in there. Boston 112-101. They pull away in the fourth quarter to win it. What went wrong? Here's Charlotte's Alonzo Mourning.
We dug a hole for ourselves. I think the one thing we need to change is we need to stop them from executing their half-court offense. That's the one thing we need to do because that's basically all they have. Our running game is to our advantage, and we tried to do that this evening, and we tried to capitalize off their mistakes in transition, but we made some critical decisions down the stretch.
Charlotte falls 1-0 in that best-of-5 series. Now, Xavier McDaniel, kind of an intriguing story. Remember last year during the playoffs, he came up really big for the Knicks after not doing a whole lot in the regular season. Same story this year with the Celtics. He didn't do much, but, boy, come playoff time, the guy rang it up for 21 tonight.
Yeah, X-Man, he's an old pro, and he's going to do that. He played very well against Charlotte all season. He had 2 games, 25 points, and he's doing it once again. I want to show you here on the teleprompter that we have him posting up against Larry Johnson, and if you don't double team this guy, you're going to be in trouble. Now, you're going to watch the feed inside, and then I want you to look at the guard position. He's going to go away and take the help away from him as it gives X-Man a little room to maneuver and operate. Takes him away. X has plenty of time right down here to give an up fake. You can see the weak side help. The spacing is good on the weak side. And he's got an up fake. It gets him leaning, and that's an easy shot for X.
Xavier McDaniel doing some damage off the bench. The Celtic bench had a good game, and look at X with 21 points, 13 of those in the fourth quarter, and Sherman Douglas and Muggsy Bogues, the battle at the point. Douglas outscores him 13-6, 9 rebounds, but Bogues with 15 assists. Let's take a look now at the New Jersey Nets and the Cleveland Cavaliers playing at Richfield Coliseum tonight. And hasn't been easy for Chuck Daly, and his guys played him tough early. The game was 16-16, and then Elo launches a 3, and they're up by 3, and they just started to pour it on and pour it on. 10-0 run by the Cavs. Mark Price right around Drazen Petrovic, and up and over Sam Bowie. Gerald Wilkins going to do that finger roll thing over the Florida Gator Dwayne Shinsis, and it goes. And Chuck saying, yeah, this has a distinct aroma to it. The only guy for Cleveland missing tonight was Albert Bell of the Cleveland Indians. Came on and put on quite an exhibition in three-point shooting. Not exactly the stuff you're looking for. 114-98, Cleveland a winner over New Jersey as the Cavs take a 1-0 lead. And we'll be back with more of the Reebok halftime report after this. John Lucas, what do you do with your troops now? You got David Robinson with 5 points in the first half, and you're down by 12.
Tough decision. He's either got to go with the starters the whole way, or he's going to have to get great production from his bench. David Robinson cannot do it all.
We'll take you back to Rip City for the third period. Portland with a 12-point lead over San Antonio. Third period just ahead.
The Reebok Halftime Report has been brought to you by Reebok, who reminds you that on Planet Reebok, there are no limits.
Welcome back to Memorial Coliseum in Portland. Pete Van Weer and Goose Gibbons with you. 46-34 Trailblazer lead at the end of the first half, and it was the first half, Jack, that really turned after about the first 3 minutes of the game. Good start tonight for San Antonio, but Rod Strickland turned it around, and once the Blazers got that little run going, they never gave it back.
Yeah, the real problem for San Antonio is that they have not been able to make shots from the outside, and because of that, Portland has been able to back their defense in there, make it very difficult for David Robinson to get going, and they have not been able to do anything on the offensive end. Rod Strickland, on the other hand, has been able to do everything. It started early in the game for Strickland, his ability to penetrate, get to the basket, and create shots for everyone else. And, of course, he's been able to score some points also. So the matchup to the point guard spot has been a real key in this game.
Yeah, and Rod Strickland, definitely the star of the first half of this game. He contributed in virtually every category, and we're going to show you how. First of all, he scored.
It's been about the Rod Strickland show this whole game. You see him right here, just as I mentioned, getting to the paint, taking the ball to the basket uncontested because of his quickness against Vinny Del Negro. Then you'll see him also rebounding the ball here, and that's going to get him on the fast break. And he's just going to take it end to end. He's going to get the ball to one of his teammates here. You'll see the nice little pass here, and Kersey, who has been the recipient of a lot of passes so far in this game, gets it to the hole. He's played very well.
And if you need a little defense, just call him the same guy. He picked the pocket of Lloyd Daniels right here.
Yeah, see, they've had a real tough time matching up with Strickland tonight on both ends of the floor. And when the San Antonio Spurs went big, that meant Strickland was able to exploit them with his quickness even more, and he hurt him on the defensive end that time.
In the middle, there's the trouble David Robinson's been having. 5 points, 5 rebounds. His defense is fine with 4 block shots, only 2 of 9 from the field. You can see that Kevin Duckworth and Mark Bryant have outperformed him. But as you mentioned, Jack, he's going to need some help. Somebody from outside is going to have to start hitting some outside shots, either Sean Elliott or Dale Ellis. Lloyd Daniels hit a couple, then missed a couple. Would you believe that in the first half of this game, the highest scorer for San Antonio was Willie Anderson with 6 points?
I guess
he's been playing limited minutes coming off of surgery. So they have got to find somebody other than David Robinson to help them win this game. And quarter number 3 is underway. It's Rod Strickland, Mark Bryant, Buck Williams, Jerome Kersey, and Terry Porter. And they go to Buck Williams and Antoine Carr on him. Tipped out to Kersey. Only 3 seconds left to shoot it. And still converts. Kersey, 15 points tonight. He was the high scorer in the first half. He's 6 for 7 overall from the field.
Well, he's been on the offensive boards. He's gotten 4 offensive rebounds in this game, and that has led to a lot of easy baskets on the inside.
And San Antonio still can't find anybody outside with a hot hand.
One thing I noticed, and Kersey even has to laugh about that one. One thing I noticed about the Portland defense, that as the half went on, it backed up more and more into the paint, trying to force the shots from the outside. It almost looked like a zone defense. Of course, we know that's illegal in this league and never is played. But it almost looked like a zone defense, the way they were all 5 guys touching the white area on the floor.
Well, if you don't show a team like Portland that you can hit an outside shot, you're going to see that played all night long. Antoine Carr hits them both. He's got 4 points on the night now. 48-36, 12-point lead. Early in quarter number 3. Strickland, another assist perhaps. If Bryant hits the jumper, he's got one. Nobody's got the rebound.
Yeah, another rebound for sure.
His 5th rebound. Buck Williams underneath. Oh, he got nailed on the way up. Those goggles went flying. David Robinson called for the foul, his 2nd.
Tell you what you haven't seen out of David Robinson. That's a good look at him right there. Is that intensity in his face, the look in his eye that you normally see out of David Robinson, especially when he's getting things going on both ends of the floor. You just haven't seen that so far in this game. Now, it can turn on very quickly with David as he gets more involved offensively. But, boy, that face just looks kind of blank right now.
Interesting comment by John Lucas this morning. When he took over the club, Luke said that he told David Robinson, I want this to be your team, just like the Celtics were Larry Bird's team, just like the Lakers were Kareem's team. Avery Johnson goes coast to coast quick, too. And then Magic's team later on, just like the Bulls are Michael Jordan's team. But he said sometimes the decisions made by other people don't get David involved enough in what we'd like him to do.
It's interesting that he even had to do that, because you would think with this team there's no question who it belongs to is David Robinson. But under Tark, believe it or not, the guy that had most control on this team was Lloyd Daniels.
Third try was a charm. He has 8 points and a very complete performance tonight. It's back up to a 13-point lead, 51-38.
Jerry Tarkanian had given a lot of that responsibility to Lloyd Daniel, and David had to take it over and did when John Lucas came in.
And David still can't get it going. Closing in on the 10-minute mark here in the third quarter, 51-38. David Robinson now just 2 of 10 from the field. Terry Porter's been hitting that shot. That one was wide left. Buck Williams the rebound.
Now look at the hustle right now. I mean, Portland's just getting to everything.
They're playing with much more energy right now and have been since about the 8-minute mark in the first quarter.
And Antoine Carr picks up the foul number 4. So he's going to have to come out of there again. Just that half step that you need in a game like this is just not there for San Antonio. Watch Antoine. Now he's going to try to get over there, but you see him stick his shoulder out there.
He's tried that a couple times tonight, and he hasn't gotten the call either time. Jerome Kersey, 16 points tonight, 6 rebounds. Antoine still can't believe that last call. He pulls away the rebound. 52-38, 14-point lead for Portland. As we told you at the outset, Rick Adelman wants this game in the worst way. He feels this first game is the most important game of all in a 5-game series.
He's one of the many, many coaches around the league that are in favor of making this first series a 7-game series instead of a 5-game series.
John Lucas says we'll adjust after game 1 regardless of whether we win or lose it. Some adjustment may be necessary unless the Spurs get it going here pretty soon.
Well, some adjustment's going to be necessary in this game if he wants to try to pull this thing out.
10 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists for Rod Strickland. He's getting close to a triple-double in this opening game of the best-of-5 set. Sean Elliott finally gets one to fall for Sean Elliott. Only his 3rd field goal of the night and the first one he's made since the first quarter.
Since early in the first quarter. Yeah. Those first 2 field goals came very, very early. Well, look at that matchup down low with Antoine Carr and Buck Williams.
Mark Bryant lost it out of bounds. Spurs get it back. Here comes Vinny Del Negro checking back in.
Larry Smith in the lineup for his
and Larry Smith also checks in.
Well, they're not going to let Vinny come in.
They're going to let Larry Smith come in as Antoine Carr sits down. First appearance tonight for the 13-year veteran Larry Smith. He'll give some defense and some rebounding and a big body.
That's what's kept him in the league all these years.
Elliot draws the double team. Avery Johnson will take a hit, the outside jumper. He has 8 points. 54-42, a 12-point lead. Terry Porter, too strong with that one. Mark Bryant the rebound. John Lucas complaining that Bryant should have been called for a foul. Now Terry Porter from 3-point land, rattled around and out. There's the rebound by Larry Smith. Rod Strickland hits the deck. A little slow getting up. Avery Johnson. Something he's been doing very effectively for John Lucas. This is on the urging of Lucas. He said if you see those big guys there, just drive the ball into him, try to get fouled at least.
Well, I think a real good example of that is if you look back to the last game of the season when San Antonio played the Houston Rockets. Hakeem Olajuwon, as good a shot blocker as he is, 3 of the fouls that Olajuwon picked up in this game was trying to block the shot of Avery Johnson. Johnson has gotten so good at using his body, making sure that there's contact as he takes the ball to the basket, and Lucas really wants him shooting between 8 and 12 free throws a game.
Well, so far tonight, he's shot 4 and made 3. 54-43 with 8 minutes to go, third quarter. Down the basket. 56-43. And a big night for Jerome Kersey, who now has 18 points.
Kersey's season high is 23, so he's definitely on pace to set a new season high here in this game. Really hasn't been called on to score nearly as many points this season. He's been called on to do a lot of other things, rebounding as he always has done well. Play the defense.
Sean Elliott trying to heat up from outside. Vinny Del Negro from the top of the circle. And Del Negro has his 4th point. But it's still a 12-point Blazer lead. Still plenty of time in this third quarter, 7.5 minutes.
John Lucas trying all kinds of combinations to get San Antonio going. Rod Strickland is going to be called for the offensive foul there. Don't forget, inside the NBA, Fred Hickman and Vince Cellini coming up right after our game. Scores and highlights of the first day of NBA playoff action. Also a preview of tomorrow night's action. Another opening night for Michael Jordan and the Bulls. That's inside the NBA coming up next on TNT. Well, there comes Cliff Robinson. Maybe that headband will work. The red one didn't. He was 0 for 8 with the red one.
The red one definitely was not the offensive headband.
I don't think that red one's around anymore.
Probably threw that thing away, I'm sure.
Might have burned that baby. 57-45. Dale Ellis, a three-point effort. He nails it. And he has 8 points. That's his second three-pointer of the night. And the lead down to 9. So San Antonio coming back a little bit. Boy, this could get it back up to the double figures. But Terry Porter's shot blown. The rebound pulled away by Sean Elliott. So San Antonio making a little run here.
Well, you think about the way Portland got the lead in the first half. It was penetration by Strickland and the easy shots coming from the inside. You look at the shot selection here in the last few minutes, a lot of shots coming from outside. Elliot now gets to the basket.
And that's a 12-3 run for the San Antonio Spurs. Rick Adelman said, we still have those spots in games where we give away the lead. Looks like this might be one of them. 6:44 to go in the third. Timeout Portland. A little run by the Spurs has pulled them back to within 7 of Portland's lead. 6:44 to go in the third quarter. Look at tonight's GMC Truck scoreboard. Opening night of NBA playoff action. All the home teams won, and all the home teams won by double figures. Cleveland over New Jersey. Boston, you saw, won their opener. And the other final, Houston, 117-94. Big night for Hakeem Olajuwon. 28 points, 9 block shots in that one. Sean Elliott, during this 13-3 run, 4 points, 3 assists. And now the Spurs, as you mentioned, Jack, you get a little offense going. That juices it up a little defensively, but the Portland Trailblazers had a play designed to beat that. Buck Williams taking the feed. He has 7.
Yeah, Portland did a great job that time of spreading the defense. I mean, just a real good job. And then making the cut to the basket. Boy, David is really struggling.
He's really struggling. He's going to need a lot of help tonight, it appears. He's 2 for 12 from the field.
The double teams are coming even more aggressively against David Robinson every time he touches the ball.
And keep in mind that not all of Portland players having that big night either, because Cliff Robinson has only 1 point this deep into the game. Vinny Del Negro just called for his second foul, 4th team foul.
I still think Cliff Robinson, when he's having the kind of game he's having, just not making shots from the outside, needs to get something going towards the basket, a field goal attempt, so that if he misses it, he can at least get to the free throw line and get something that way.
Buck Williams, 2 more.
Yeah, but let's talk Jerome Kersey that time now. Kersey with the nice drive to the basket, drew the defense to him, laid it off very, very nicely.
An 11-point lead again for the Blazers. David Robinson still can't get one to fall in the second half.
Right, that was a good look at the basket by David.
2 for 13. Strickland, coast to coast short. Larry Smith the rebound. Strickland hits the deck again. Sean Elliott from outside. He's beginning to warm up. He's hit 3 field goals and 10 points now in the game.
That's the matchup I talked about early in this game. He's been guarded by Porter, and that's just a matchup I would think Sean Elliott would be able to take advantage of with the size difference there.
Cliff Robinson's going to try Larry Smith out here, and before he got the shot away, Larry Smith called for the foul. That is his first.
And you'll see the defense. Watch right here as Kersey gets to the paint. Watch how the 3 black shirts come to him right there. And of course that leaves Buck. He goes right to the basket. That's twice now Buck has been the recipient because of the spread defense by San Antonio.
Kersey tonight, 19 points, 6 rebounds, couple of assists. And back to the free throw line goes Cliff Robinson, where he scored his only point tonight.
Well, as I say, that's where he needs to go right now. He needs to try to get something going towards the basket so he can step up there. Now, it's not going to help any if he doesn't step up there and knock down the free throws. He's struggling to get confidence now, and it's not going to come with him missing.
Portland just 11 of 20 from the free throw line, 55%.
Jerome Kersey gets a nice hand as he sits down. Kevin Duckworth has checked in. Cliff Robinson trying to shrug it off with a smile.
Sometimes the best thing you can do when you're having a game like this is just laugh at it, and hopefully you can forget it and he misses the second one. So that blows my theory there, because it's not helping any if he doesn't make those free throws.
He's just 1 for 4 from the line. 61-52, 9-point lead.
And
maybe that'll get him going.
Yeah, that's
steal for Cliff Robinson.
Good way to get it going right there.
Off to Rod Strickland. Strickland waits for the rest of the offense to catch up. Now begins to run the show. Robinson going to try a baseline jumper. No, it's just not the night for the Robinsons, either one of them on either team. Vinny Del Negro couldn't get by Rod Strickland. That was good defense again by Strickland.
And now Sean Elliott has even a smaller guy. David steps outside and finally makes one.
For David Robinson, his first field goal of the second half, only his 7th point of the night. He's 3 out of 14 from the field, 61-54. 7-point Portland lead, 4:10 remaining third quarter. Opening game of this best-of-5 series. Now top of the circle, Strickland again. He has 12. And the lead back up to 9. Been all over the place on both sides, yes. Offense and defense.
Yes, he surely has.
From behind, count the basket, and he'll go to the free throw line. And Rod Strickland's biggest fan right now, Clyde Drexler.
Well, I said this is a game of matchups. It's been a game of matchups the entire way. This time you would think Del Negro has the advantage working against a much smaller Rod Strickland. He uses his quickness there to come up with it, and there is the foul as yet again he gets to the paint.
66-54, 15 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds tonight. Couple of steals for Rod Strickland. No turnovers. David Robinson working on Buck Williams. I guess we're going to get the offensive foul. We do. Buck Williams has drawn about 3 of those tonight from various San Antonio Spurs. That's the 3rd foul on Robinson.
Well, he drew a couple on Antoine Carr. He drew that one on David Robinson, and every time in every matchup, Buck has had the advantage with his quickness. He's been able to move his feet to get good position and force the offense to come to him.
Terry Porter had a hot first half, 12 points. Has not yet scored in the second half. Nice dish underneath to Buck Williams, and Williams got sandwiched between Ellis and Smith.
And Buck just says, keep coming to me, guys. I'll keep setting the screens to free up, and as soon as you clear me, I'm under the basket, because every time the 2 defensive players go right to Porter or whoever he sets the screen on.
And back at the free throw line is now 4 of 7.
Mario Ellie in the lineup.
Mario Ellie checking back in for the Blazers. Terry Porter sits down.
And you saw Rick Edelman there. Give him a lot of credit. He called that timeout. It was 57-50 when he did that, as San Antonio started to creep back in it. He must have gotten them refocused, and now they've been able to build this lead back up to 13. Strickland's down again.
13-point lead. Strickland really hit the turf hard that time. The rebound finally pulled away by Buck Williams. And Rod Strickland still waiting in midcourt. Now dishing off to Cliff Robinson. He draws the double team.
And a good decision to pass that shot up.
Kevin Duckworth couldn't get it to fall, though. Dale Ellis pulls away the rebound. 2:40 remaining third quarter. 67-54. 13-point lead for the Blazers. David Robinson has just not been able to get it going tonight.
He's getting good shots to the basket. I mean, you can't get a better shot than that for David.
And he's not smiling, unlike Cliff Robinson, who is having the same sort of night. The reason? Portland's up by 13 with 2:27 to go in the third.
Seeing a very frustrated David Robinson right now, and a great job defensively by Buck Williams. Watch right here. You'll see the double team. Now Strickland is just waiting there for David to put the ball on the floor. Now watch Buck very quickly cuts off the pass to the basket, draws the charge, and then the next time David gets the ball, he understands that Buck is there. That Buck is there. David wanted to take the ball to the basket, decided not to, changed his shot up, and missed yet another real good look at the basket.
Now back to line of action. 5-second violation will turn the ball over, 67-54.
And David, 3 of 15 from the field tonight.
But again, perhaps some of his problems could be resolved if the Spurs could find someone to consistently hit the outside shot and force that defense out a little bit. They've not been able to do that. There's been a guy here and a guy there that might hit a couple, but then they go cold. Willie Anderson off to Dale Ellis. And Ellis can't get it going either. Ellis going to try again from three-point land. Nope.
Tough break for Dale.
Kevin Duckworth hustles for the rebound off to Rod Strickland. Dallas now only 3 of 8 from the field. A minute 45 to go. Cliff Robinson, I tell you what. He has had that look on his face like, I can't believe this is really happening to me.
This is not me, Sam. This is just not me.
A 19-point-a-game scorer normally shoots 47% from the field, 0 for 10 from the field tonight. He's 0 for 8 in the red headband, 0 for 2 in the black headband. We might see a plaid one in the fourth quarter. Stolen by Robinson. He's got a couple of those, and he'll get to the free throw line here.
Now there he is going to the basket. Now let's see if he steps up to the line and knocks these 2 free throws down. I think he's going to go up there with a whole lot more concentration, a whole lot more focus here, and try to get some.
Del Negro's third foul. Cliff Robinson 1 for 4 from the free throw line, in addition to the 0 for 10 from the field.
I would not be surprised if he stepped up there and missed them both, though. It's been that kind of night. But at least he took the ball to the hole. Much higher percentage shot.
That look says enough is enough.
Yeah.
Still only made 1 of 2, and is only 2 of 6 from the line tonight. There's only 2 points of the night. 68-54. But the one difference is Cliff Robinson not having a big night. Portland up by 14. David Robinson not having a big night. San Antonio down by 14. Dale Ellis got that to fall for him. That puts him in double figures with 10. And closing in on the 1-minute mark here in the third, a 12-point lead for the Blazers. Stepping up and having big games for the Blazers tonight, Strickland, Jerome Kersey, Buck Williams. Still belongs to Portland. And San Antonio still searching for that step-up guy.
Yeah, they've been looking for him the whole game. John Lucas has tried about everything, and they're going to overrule him here and give the ball back to San Antonio.
Next game ball, Avery Johnson will be checking back in. Under a minute to go. We'll keep an eye on the shot clock for you. Shot clock at 50. Del Negro's going to try one from about a 3-point land. Rebound. Comes right back to him. Second try doesn't go either, but the tip does go. Larry Smith given credit for his first 2 of the night. 68-58, 10-point lead.
And still, as badly as San Antonio has played in this game, it's just a 10-point ball game right now.
And Willie Anderson's hurt. Willie Anderson is lying in the paint. Just now getting up. Kevin Duckworth tries a charm. 8 points for Duckworth. 70-58. Willie Anderson holding on to his chest.
He might have
stepped on there.
Might have gotten a forearm there in the chest and knocked the wind out.
David Robinson at the buzzer. Still can't get one to fall. The night of frustration continues for the Spurs and David Robinson. He is 3 for 16 from the field.
He's going to get a forearm, Willie Anderson, I think. There it is right there. I think that is Buck Williams that gets him with the forearm right into the chest area.
At the half, the Portland Trail Blazers led up by 12 after 3. Still a 12-point lead. With Jack Gibbons, Pete Van Wert welcoming you back to Portland, where with 1 quarter to go, it's a 12-point lead. 70-58, Blazers leading the Spurs. And during that break between quarters, a lot of work done on the court. The ice is still on the underside of this basketball court here at Memorial Coliseum while the local professional hockey team participates in playoff, and there's a little moisture seeping through.
Well, it's rather warm in the building, and I think the heat mixing with the ice condensation down there under the basket. Well, David Robinson continues to struggle, although he will get to the free throw line here. And that's a good example right there of the double teams that you have seen on David Robinson. And both of the Robinsons here tonight struggling. And Cliff Robinson, even as badly as David has shot the ball here, on the worst end of the stick, 0 for 11.
That's absolutely incredible.
It really is.
Because these are two of the key offensive cogs in the NBA. You've got David Robinson, always an all-star. Cliff Robinson, one of the leading candidates for the sixth-man award in the NBA this year. And between them, 3 field goals tonight.
I think if he scores a field goal in this game, you'll see him take a victory lap around this court. I mean, he is going to be the happiest guy in the whole building.
And you'll hear the largest eruption of noise in this building all night, too, when Cliff Robinson gets on there. They're trying to get him on there, too. Mario Ellie's pass to Robinson in the paint. Willie Anderson commits the foul. That's his first.
Willie Anderson seems to be okay. He got a forearm in the chest, actually an elbow in the chest from Buck Williams there. And Willie doesn't have a whole lot of muscle on that body, a whole lot of meat on that body at 6'80". Weighs about 200, a little over 200 pounds.
Good defense there by Larry Smith. Ball is loose. Kersey and Smith battling for it. And the temper's going a little short there. Looked like Larry Smith might have kicked Jerome Kersey inadvertently in the side of the head, and Jerome didn't care much for that.
No, not at all. Not at all. And yes, you'll see, look at number 2. They'll get tangled up here. Now watch the feet here.
Right there.
Got him right in the face.
Well, if you throw a punch at somebody, it's an automatic ejection and 1-game suspension. Didn't say anything about kicking though.
No. Well, I'll tell you what, a statement was made about kicking about a week or 2 ago when you saw Doc Rivers get kicked in the head by Isaiah Thomas. A huge fine levied against Thomas in that suspension, I think.
Mario Elliott recovers. Ball rolls loose though. David Robinson picks it up. Elliott gets a hand in. Cliff Robinson gets it back.
What a difference Ellie has made for this team. It doesn't matter if he plays 5 minutes or 25. Always an impact-type player. It doesn't have to be offensively, as he showed that time. Came up a little short on that jumper.
Pop-a-shot machines all over Portland may be busy tonight. The way these two teams have shot the ball, neither team has had a particularly good night of it shooting. Avery Johnson left uncovered. Even the open jumpers won't go. San Antonio shooting 38%, Portland shooting 40% on the night. 70-60. Blazers with 10:19 to go in the game, and a foul's going to be called on Larry Smith, reaching in his 4th.
Have not seen J.R. Reed in this half, as Larry Smith was the first guy at the power forward spot called when Antoine Carr got in foul trouble. Now Cummins will check into the game as Smith takes a seat.
Terry Porter gets the pick set by Cliff Robinson. Eludes the defensive coverage of Avery Johnson and hits his 14th point of the night. Back up to a 12-point game.
On a play like that, you know your guy's struggling. David Robinson catches it with his head under the basket. Instead of taking a shot, he throws it out. It's been that kind of night offensively.
Timeout. And here is tonight's Dutch boy in the paint. The center comparison interesting, with David Robinson being outscored by the Brian Duckworth combination, but neutralized somewhat by the absence of Cliff Robinson as an offensive force. The problem tonight for San Antonio, Jack, has been that nobody else has picked up for David Robinson.
And you really have to have that. And of course, the inside-outside offense that San Antonio likes to use just simply has not had a chance to develop. Shots like that will just have to start going for San Antonio.
He's been the brightest hope, Sean Elliott, in the second half for the Spurs. He has 8 of his 12 points in the second half.
That will make it a lot easier on David Robinson.
Well, like Rick Adelman was telling us this morning, in the absence of Clyde Drexler during all these games that he's missed, including tonight, there have been other players that have picked their game up a little bit.
Well, you see some ball movement here finally. David Robinson draws the double team, and then they keep working the ball around to the open man. Now, they've been trying to do that some this game. Those shots just simply have not been falling.
Sean Elliott drawing a lot of close attention from Mario Ellie now. David Robinson short again. He's going to have nightmares tonight about this game.
I mean, the best thing that can happen to David here is that Saturday gets here sooner than you would think, and he can forget about this one.
Cliff Robinson sitting down now. It's Duckworth, Porter, Buck Williams, Mario Ellie, and Jerome Kersey on the court for Portland.
I mean, David needs game 2 more than anything else right now.
The guys who have stepped it up tonight for Portland in the absence of Drexler have been Strickland, Kersey, Buck Williams, Kevin Duckworth. Some of the things that Clyde Drexler does so well. 21 points tonight for Kersey. 8 of 11 from the field.
Well, you know it's your night when you make those kind of shots. You're Jerome Kersey taking that shot from right at the three-point line, falling away from the basket.
Buck Williams clears after the Terry Cummings miss. 7 boards tonight for Buck, 74-62. Blazers can now get that lead back up to 14. And Kersey going toward the hole. Willie Anderson called for his second. You know, Jerome Kersey's best game during the regular season, a 23-point game.
Just 23.
He averaged 10.5 a game, but 23 was his best game of the season. His best playoff game ever, a 34-point effort, so he's a ways away from that. But he could tie his season high during the regular season if he hits these 2 free throws.
Well, that's been about the only thing he hasn't done real well here in this ballgame tonight. He's 5 of 10 from the free throw line.
Never been a great free throw.
No, he hasn't.
63% this year. Now 6 of 11. He has 22 points, 75-62. That lead up to 13. Anytime the Spurs get that lead back into single figures or close to it, Blazers open up a little spurt to get it back to 13, 14 points.
That's better ball movement right there by San Antonio. They don't get the shot to go, but that's pretty good ball movement.
And they're not getting many offensive boards in the second half either. No basket. They're going to call the offensive foul on Terry Porter. That's his second foul.
Well, let's see if the defense ever gets there.
Yeah, look like Avery Johnson did.
Avery's right there. Good call.
We couldn't see him. He was behind Willie Anderson from our
He was hitting in there behind Anderson.
Ellis checks back in. So now they're trying to get David Robinson some help out there with some outside shooting with guys like Ellis and Elliot. Here's Rod Strickland getting a nice hand as he checks back in. Mario Ellie sits down.
I'm still a little surprised in this game that San Antonio has not done a better job of using Sean Elliott. It seems like he's played this entire game being guarded by a much smaller player, and he's just not been able to get going. There he is right there with some penetration finally.
And he gets it off of Terry Cummings, who's on the board with his 4th point. 75-64, an 11-point lead. See the time remaining. Still plenty of time for the Spurs to make a game out of it.
And you add to that the lulls that the Portland Trail Blazers seem to always have in a game, and it's even closer than this score would indicate.
They had one earlier in this half, allowed them to get back to within 7. That's when it was 57-50. And they call a timeout, making that lead right back up again.
Yeah, there he is.
Elliot.
You just think about the kind of game Elliott's having, even with the limited shots that he has had in this game.
He's hit all 5 shots he's taken in the second half. 14 points, the lead down to 9, 75-66. Strickland dribbled that ball off his own heel. Got it back to Buck Williams despite the double team. Williams tries the shot. Robinson the rebound, and it tipped away. That's 10 boards for David Robinson. His rebounding and blocked shots are up there, but the points aren't. Terry Cummings, no. I don't know. Terry looks like he's only about 80% of what he used to be out there.
Well, I don't know if he's even that much. I really don't.
He can't get any elevation at all, can he? Dale Ellis from the corner. He has 12. 75-68. Once again, San Antonio has cut the lead to 7. Once again, Portland's going to call a timeout after a 6-0 Spurs run.
action continues tomorrow night here on TNT. Another doubleheader for you. The Atlanta Hawks and Chicago Bulls. Hawks have played the Bulls well this year. That best-of-5 series gets going in Chicago at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, followed by the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. A Western Conference first-round Game 1. That's all tomorrow night here on TNT. Now this Portland Trailblazer crowd, another sellout here at Memorial Coliseum, trying to put an end to a 6-0 run by the San Antonio Spurs and get their Blazers going again. 75-68.
You mentioned the last time San Antonio was able to cut this lead, a timeout was called by Rick Adelman, and the Blazers came out and responded very positively. We'll see if that happens here again. They built the lead right back up.
Kersey's jumper, no. Rebound pulled away by Dale Ellis. Now the Spurs can cut it to within 5. 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Baseline jumper, Terry Cummings, count the basket.
And I think Dale Ellis will get one free throw here as the foul occurred in the act of shooting. So Dale Ellis will be the guy that steps up to the free throw line and gets a chance here to knock down a free throw. And this lead will be cut to 4 points.
Kersey called for his third. The basket went for Cummings, 75-70, but Ellis was the one that was fouled by Kersey. Ellis tonight, his first trip to the free throw line, 80% for the year. And a three-point play by two different Spurs, making a 4-point game, 75-71.
That's amazing. It's amazing that this Portland team cannot shake.
Happens to him once or twice a game.
This thing about blowing the lead continues to be a problem.
Oh, did Terry Porter get jackknifed as he went up. David Robinson, Terry Cummings were there.
Well, I think Cummings will get the foul as he
is second.
Wanted to make sure that Porter had no chance of making that shot.
Last time the game was this close was back in the first quarter when it was 22-18. 5:28 to go, 75-71. At the pace of this game, San Antonio may score the fewest points tonight. They've scored all year. Their lowest game of the year, 85 points during the regular season against Utah. They're going to have to go some to do that at the pace they've been going.
You just have to think San Antonio just happy to be this close with the kind of game David Robinson is having.
If you just joined us, Robinson just 3 of 17 from the field. Cliff Robinson 0 for 11 from the field for Portland. Lead belongs to the Blazers, as does the lead of the game, 77-71. That's been the case in this season series. They're in the regular season all season long. Ellis is warming up from outside. 15 points for Dale Ellis.
And this crowd in this building is such a factor, and you see how quiet this building is right now as San Antonio continues to answer.
Cliff Robinson didn't get a foul call or the basket that time. Another steal by Rod Strickland underneath the Cliff Robinson. This time he got fouled by David. Fourth foul on David Robinson. Cliff going to the line, which has been the only place he's been able to score from tonight. He's only has 2 free throws.
Twice now the outlet pass has been a problem for David Robinson. Now you see him here, and Strickland picks it off. San Antonio wanted the over and back. They thought Strickland had possession of the ball before he crossed the line, and Robinson continues to struggle in this game.
When Cliff Robinson retires from the NBA, this game will not be among his personal highlights.
It will not be in his
videotape collection.
Of film, that's for sure.
1 for 2. He has 3 points on the night. Only 3 of 8 from the free throw line. Still 0 for 12 from the field. 5-point game. Under 5 minutes to go. David Robinson finally gets one to fall. Believe it or not, that's only his 4th field goal of the night. He's had 1 in each quarter.
It's funny how that works. He's had good looks at the basket the entire game. And then the shot that he makes might be his most difficult shot of the evening here.
He's now 4 of 18 from the field. He's finally in double figures with 11 points. He has 11 rebounds and 4 blocked shots. All 4 of the blocks coming in the first half. Free throw wouldn't go for him, though.
Now, that's the Terry Cummings right there that San Antonio would like to see more of. That's why they brought him back, his ability to get to the board.
78-77, all of a sudden a 1-point game. 4.5 minutes to go. The Blazers have led by as many as 15 in the second half. And twice they have let San Antonio back into it.
And Cliff Robinson couldn't have picked a bigger time to hit his first field goal of the night in 13 drives. Back up to a 3-point lead. And that got the crowd, as we thought it would, right back into this game big time.
Well, I think both Robinsons will be called on here down the stretch.
Rebound comes out deep for Strickland. 3-on-2 break. Kersey, yes. 25 points for Jerome Kersey. Another assist for Rod Strickland. Timeout. San Antonio. Ninth assist of the night for Rod Strickland to go along with 15 points. Jerome Kersey, 25 points now, 2 more than his best game during the regular season. But that's exactly what Rick Adelman was talking about. Now the 20-second timeout has been changed to a full timeout. We'll be back. The noise hasn't stopped here in the Portland Coliseum since we've been away. 82-77, and here's the basket that got him going.
I don't think that both David and Cliff Robinson will not be called on down the stretch because of the games that they've had to this point. That was the first basket of the evening for Cliff Robinson, 1 of 13. Clyde Drexler still sitting in.
And normally it's been Cliff Robinson who's picked up the numbers that Clyde Drexler has not been able to provide because of that hamstring. Tonight it hasn't been. Tonight it's been Jerome Kersey and Terry Porter and Rod Strickland and at times Buck Williams and Kevin Duckworth. But it's still only a 5-point game. San Antonio with plenty of time, 3.5 minutes. David Robinson, there's the double team. He shoots over it and hits it.
As I say, both Robinsons will be called on down the stretch here. 5 of 19, David Robinson at this point in the game.
13 points on the night, a 3-point lead, 82-79, closing in on the 3-minute mark. And away from the ball, Bernie Fryer blows the whistle. He's got Terry Cummings for one, his third. Terry Cummings said, where did that whistle come from? Great line from John Lucas today. He said about Terry Cummings when asked, was there any concern about bringing him back for just the final 8 games of the season? He said, how can you say no to a player who's worked so hard to get healthy?
Yeah, he said you can't penalize a guy for getting healthy. I think, though, the guy that really is hurting since they have brought Terry Cummings back is J.R. Reed. He's the guy that's been pretty much cut out. His minutes are gone. Actually, they're going to Terry Cummings. His production also is down now that Cummings is back.
12 points for Buck Williams. That lead back up to 5, 84-79. Sean Elliott has had a good second half. That one, no. Rebound, Jerome Kersey. Gives it off to Rod Strickland. 9 boards tonight for Kersey to go along with a 25-point evening. And now Rod Strickland, who's had a big night right from the get-go.
Well, you just can't say enough about the experience this time of the year.
Before the shot, the whistle from Hugh Hollins.
Can't say enough about the experience factor. And you talked earlier about the number of games, playoff games, I should say, for this Portland team as opposed to the number of playoff games for San Antonio.
Yeah, 518 games of experience on the Portland roster, 218 games of experience on the San Antonio roster, and most of those by 2 players, basically.
Yeah, Terry Cummings
and Dale Ellis.
I make that point just simply because of one reason is because of the game that Jerome Kersey is having right there. We mentioned already this is a season high for him tonight, and you would expect him to step up this time of the year and play the way he's playing.
Portland getting to the free throw line a lot more tonight than San Antonio. This is their 36th effort, and they've made 22 of them. San Antonio just 9 of 14. Lead back up to 7, 86-79. 2.5 minutes to go. Game 1, best of 5 series.
stripped of the ball on the way up by Cliff.
Cliff Robinson, you see him trying to make eye contact with David, and he is just saying right now to David Robinson with the eyes is that I am simply not going to let you take advantage of me on the inside.
Avery Johnson, no-look pass inside to Terry Cummings, or Sean Elliott rather. And for Sean Elliott, his 16th point, 86-81, closing into the 2-minute mark. Buck Williams sets the pick. Porter
2 minutes
into the paint, back outside to Cliff Robinson. Nope, rebound pulled away by David. A dozen rebounds for David Robinson.
It's getting physical. Getting physical down low.
Kersey and Robinson battling for it underneath. Both coaches pointing their way. But the officials say it belongs to the Spurs, and the Spurs want to talk it over. Timeout, San Antonio. 1:41 remaining in the game. Portland leading at 86-81. Welcome back to Game 1 in this best-of-5 series between the San Antonio Spurs, Portland Trail Blazers. Blazers up by 5, but a valiant effort being made by the Spurs in the second half. Remember, they trailed by as many as 15 at one point.
Well, they finally started to get someone to respond for David Robinson. Sean Elliott has been...
See Avery Johnson talking there. Remember what John Lucas told us this morning? He said, I've got some players on this team that don't really listen to me during a timeout. So I tell Avery, here's what I want him to do. And he goes on the court and tells him, and they get the message at least relayed through Avery Johnson.
Well, that's the same way Lucas played when he was playing. He was the go-to guy, the go-through guy, if you will, and he expects Avery to take that responsibility. He said sometimes Avery will tell him, leave me out of this time, Coach. I don't want any part of it. It's up to you.
Well, he's a part of it now. David Robinson recovers. Ball rolling loose. Terry Cummings picks it up. Only 5 left in the shot clock. Nope, tipped by David Robinson goes. And the Admiral coming to life. He's got 8 points in this quarter after only scoring 7 in the first 3. And it's back to a 3-point game. A little over a minute to go.
I'll tell you another thing that has been real important for San Antonio here in this fourth period when they've been able to get back in the game. They've taken the ball out of the hands of Rod Strickland. They have not allowed him to bring the ball up the floor, and that's taken away a lot of the penetration that he was getting early.
Cliff's going to try another one. Rebound. Big offensive board there by Buck Williams.
He's been big on the boards, though. He's played very much a Buck Williams type game.
That's his 8th rebound. Down to 10 left in the shot clock. Terry Porter from three-point land. No. Rebound is pulled away by David Robinson. Off to Avery Johnson. He runs into Cliff Robinson. Cliff's going to be called for the foul. His 4th. Correction, his 5th personal.
Well, you saw that three-point shot attempt by Terry Porter that time. Really not the shot you would think Rick Adelman wanted in that situation. Plenty of time to penetrate, get to the basket, and get a higher percentage shot. Now you see Sean Elliott at 6'8". Porter has to shoot over him, and that leads to the rebound, the opportunity to get out on the break here. And there's
the last thing you want now is the clock to stop for the trailing team at the free throw line.
Right. The other thing with the long shots from the outside, it always leads to a long rebound and an opportunity at the fast break for the other team.
Avery Johnson having a nice ball game, 10 points, 7 assists, 4 of 5 from the free throw line. You see the time left. Blazers leading it by 2. Let's go back to our TNT studios now. Here's Ernie Johnson.
All right, thank you, Pete. Back here with Don Nelson. Let's talk about the other playoff series that began in the Western Conference, the Clippers and the Rockets tonight. And the Rockets kind of an interesting team because they've won 11 of their last 13 coming in, but lost a couple of games over the weekend. They could have knocked down home court advantage in the second round, but couldn't get it done.
They couldn't even beat Dallas at Houston, which, was a surprise to everybody. And then they had a chance the next night to win in San Antonio. They couldn't do that. So it's not the same team as they once had, but they're still pretty powerful.
And they were tonight against the Clippers in Game 1. Look at the Ron Harper action right here as he Gets that leg caught up there against the support. He sprained his right knee. He's going to have an MRI. See how bad that thing is. Danny Manning with the hoop. They were down by double digits, cut the lead to 5. Hakeem comes back, part of a 13-0 run, and then Winston Garland off the bench. Little shake, little bake, going around Mark Jackson, and it goes off the glass. Hakeem with 9 blocks on the night. Man, just a tremendous effort by Olajuwon. Almost had a triple-double, one more block, and he would have. Houston, a 117-94 win over the Clippers to take a 1-0 lead in that series. Now, let's get back to Portland.
Okay, thank you, Ernie and Nelly. 86-84. We've got quite a finish shaping up here. The Blazers up by 2. They've led by as many as 15, and twice in the second half they've allowed the Spurs to come back into it. And there you see both teams with a couple of full timeouts, 1 20-second timeout left. No fouls to give with 36.3 seconds remaining. Portland last scored on a couple of Terry Porter free throws with 2:40 left. That gave them a 7-point lead. And once again, the Spurs have reeled off 5 straight points.
Yeah, one of those runs that San Antonio is so capable of making. It all starts on the inside. They have been able to draw some double teams and get some people around David Robinson to score. Avery Johnson's had himself a pretty good ball game here. He's going to step up to the free throw line right here. That's where he needs to get more of, according to John Lucas, and he's been there some tonight.
He's 4 of 5 from the line tonight. He missed that one, but got the ball right back. Over to Sean Elliott. Buck Williams on him now. Terry Cummings, top of the circle. Rebound tipped by Avery Johnson, pulled away by David Robinson. Daryl Garrettson blows a whistle over in the corner.
Oh, it's been the little guy twice now with the offensive rebound.
Jerome Kersey called for the foul. His 4th.
Avery Johnson, watch him right here. He got the rebound off of the missed free throw. Now, you saw him right there keeping it alive, and there is a pull right there as David Robinson made the effort to get to the ball. Jerome Kersey got called for his 4th foul.
David Robinson will try to tie up the game here. It's been that kind of a night for the Robinsons, both of them. He has 15 points, 15 rebounds, but from the field he's only 6 of 20. Only 3 of 6 from the free throw line. In fact, the entire San Antonio team just 10 of 17 from the line. Kersey sits down. Mario Elliott's checked back in.
Well, I think that move was made because with the score where it is, you could see this game going into going into overtime. You don't want Kersey right now to pick up foul number 5, foul number 6 here, and not be able to use him if it does, in fact, go into overtime.
Robinson makes one of the 2.
And that one didn't want to go.
Nope. 86-85. You see the time left. They're trying to foul Mario Elliott. Last touch by San Antonio. Mario Elliott thought he got fouled from behind. We've got 12 seconds remaining. 86-85. Spurs calling a timeout with 12 seconds to go. And the Blazers holding on to a 1-point lead in the opening game of this best-of-5 series. Pete Van Weeren, Goose Gibbons with you from Portland. We sort of looked at this series at the outset, Jack, and felt this could be a pretty good matchup between these two clubs. Usually that middle matchup is between the 4 and 5 seeds, and that's what we've got here. And especially with Portland, a team that's had the postseason success they've had the last 3-4 years.
Well, we thought their experience would be a factor in this series. We've seen a couple guys step up big. One of them not tonight, Cliff Robinson, the guy that normally is the guy coming off the bench that plays very big for Portland. They have gotten a big game from Jerome Kersey. You've also seen guys like Avery Johnson. Sean Elliott has stepped up and played well as Buck Williams there.
And on the other side, John Lucas tried to play down the experience factor this morning at practice, saying we can win despite the experience. He said, I've been in a lot of games. But Terry Cummings, since coming back off the injured list, was only averaging 9.5 minutes a game the last 8 games he played, and he's played about 25 minutes tonight.
Yeah, he's been a real factor here on both ends of the floor, but his rebounding and his experience, and they fouled the right guy there, the guy that they wanted to send to the line. they do that in Cliff Robinson. He has struggled from the free throw line here tonight.
Well, he has struggled everywhere tonight. Cliff, normally a 20-point-a-game performer, just 3 of 8 from the free throw line, just 1 of 15 from outside.
Now, we saw the last time San Antonio went to the free throw line, the importance of getting to the free throw, getting to the rebound on a miss. Avery Johnson missed a free throw, got the rebound. The same importance is going to be placed on this shot right here, as Cliff Robinson will let this one go.
Boy, what a night for the Robinsons, both of them. San Antonio will get the ball back. 86-85 Portland. 9.9 seconds to go in the game. And a timeout is called.
Oh, man.
I can't recall seeing 2 players of this stature have games like this, one for each side, in a playoff game in a long, long time.
Well, it's hard to figure, but on the screen, 86-85, you have to talk once again about Portland's inability to hang on to a lead. I mean, they were very, very comfortably ahead in this game and playing the kind of game that Portland normally likes to play. And then once again, they allow the opposition to get back in the ball game as San Antonio continue to chip away, even with David Robinson struggling in this game. And they have a chance to win this one with 9.9 left.
And they haven't had a lead since there was 4:15 to go in the first quarter, and they led it 18-17. Cliff Robinson just can't believe the night he's having. Here's his last free throw effort.
Now, this has no chance of going. Look, you can tell from the time it left his hand, it was off the mark. We'll talk here a little bit about what San Antonio might want to get right here. Even though David Robinson is having the kind of game he's having, you would have to think that he would be one of the first options. I think you give the ball to Avery Johnson, allow him to penetrate, and then kick the ball inside to David if you possibly can, get him a shot.
And remember that other option that John Lucas likes Avery Johnson to work on. If he can't find anyone to get the ball off to, try to work his way inside himself and get fouled.
Yeah, it's nice to have a lot of options to go to. You can talk Sean Elliott and the game he has played in the second half here. One thing that San Antonio has tried to use a lot here in this fourth period in particular is Terry Cummins posting up down low because of David Robinson's struggles in this game. I don't know that they'll go to Terry Cummins here just simply because he is not 100% yet, but they might in fact do that because they tried to get him involved a lot in this fourth period.
San Antonio trying to steal game 1 on the road with under 10 seconds to go, down by 1. In it comes to David Robinson. There's the double team. Back outside, Sean Elliott. He takes the jumper over Cliff Robinson. He did get fouled by Robinson. The jumper wouldn't go for him. And to top it all off, Cliff, you fouled out.
Yeah. I think he'd say that's the best thing that probably could happen to this team tonight, the way I'm playing. Just get me out of here. I mean, 5 points in this ball game. And, you know, when you count on a guy as much as Portland counts on this guy and he doesn't have it, it might be best to sit him on the bench because you know he's not going to be there for you.
1 of 15 from the field, 3 of 10 from the free throw line. Sean Elliott will be at the line trying to put San Antonio on top. There are only 5.3 seconds to go. So Portland, even if he makes them both, will get the ball back with time to pull it out. Sean Elliott's first trip to the free throw line tonight. He's an 80% free throw shooter on the year. He's been a big reason for San Antonio's comeback in the second half. 12 of his points have come in the second half. We are tied.
Well, I thought this was the matchup you'd see San Antonio take advantage of the whole game. They did not do that. They finally started to go to him. And I just looked at him working against Porter and working against Elliot and some of these guys that give up 3-4 inches. And I thought that would be one you'd see them use more of here in this game.
For the first time since it was 18-17 with 4:15 to go in the first quarter, the San Antonio Spurs have the lead. San Antonio will have the Portland Trailblazers one final shot to pull it out right after this. Scored a field goal in the last 3 minutes and 51 seconds. If they can score one in the last 5.3 seconds, they win game 1 of this best-of-5 series. What do we look for here, Goose?
Well, I think once again, with the success that Strickland has had with the penetration and getting other people's shots, you almost have to give him the ball and let him try to take the ball to the hole, maybe draw the foul or create a shot for someone else. I tell you, the thing that San Antonio has done that has been so effective here is they have done an excellent job of taking the ball out of the hand of Strickland and not allowing him to penetrate as he did in the first half and get other people involved.
Coming out on the court for the Blazers, Rod Strickland, Jerome Kersey. Mario Elliott will inbounds it. Buck Williams and Terry Porter. Now it's going to be Sean Elliott, Larry Smith, Willie Anderson, Gary Cummings, and David Robinson for San Antonio. 5.3 seconds left. The Blazers down by 1 at home in game 1.
San Antonio coming with a bigger team now, definitely thinking Strickland might be the guy that hammers the ball. And there's the delay of game, and Smith jumps out of bounds to give John Lucas and his staff a chance to see what Portland will do. But San Antonio has gone big here now, thinking Strickland might end up with the ball, trying to make it more difficult for him to see over the taller player.
Mario Elliott getting it inbounds to Rod Strickland. Baseline jumper, no. Rebound, tipped outside. Coming over, picking it up is Terry Porter. Can't get the shot off. And the San Antonio Spurs, trailing throughout most of this game, rally in the fourth quarter to defeat the Portland Trail Blazers in game 1, 87-86. David Robinson getting off to a very, very slow start tonight. He only had 7 points through 3 quarters. But the Spurs steal one on the road here in Portland. 87-86 the final. The Spurs are up by 1 game. And the Portland Trailblazers shaking their heads.
Rest in peace, Gordon.
As they head back to the locker room, they had this game they felt won several times, but did not score for the last 3 minutes and 50 seconds in the fourth quarter. And 3 times, Jack, in the second half, they had that lull that let San Antonio back in. And finally, the San Antonio Spurs have won one here. First time in a while. In fact, the first time in this entire season that one of the visiting teams has won in this quarter. And as we welcome David Robinson to our TNT table here, David, it wasn't easy. It took you a while for your game to get going.
Yeah,
but you guys pulled it out.
Wow, it was, I tell you what, I was missing everything early in the game, and I really felt so out of sync, but I just trying to come back defensively and get things going, block some shots, and fortunately in the last quarter I hit some shots.
David Robinson, John Lucas made a statement that was definitely one that proved to be the fact here tonight, is that it doesn't matter so much how we shoot the ball or how many points we score. It just matters how we play defense. Yeah. And I think when it came right down to it, it was your defense that won this game.
Yeah, that was the key. That fourth quarter, they had a 12-point lead going in, and we needed to stop them. And I thought we got that pick and roll. We stopped that. We stopped the penetration so much and made it a lot tougher on them and cut them down to 1 shot, and that was the key.
Do you guys discuss the lull that it seems the Portland Trailblazers have? Lucas called the timeout. He says, does he say to you, don't give up because we're playing Portland? They will give you a chance to get back in the game?
A little bit, but, I think the key for us is we always feel like we can get in it. We've had an up-and-down season where we've had to fight back a lot, and so we have a lot of confidence in that. But tonight, we couldn't get anything going that first half, and he kept saying, keep playing hard, and it will all come to us. And I think it did flow a lot better in that fourth quarter.
David, one of the keys to you guys getting back into the game was, for a long time there, when your shot wasn't falling, nobody else could get theirs to fall either. Then about midway through the third quarter, Sean Elliott began to hit some jumpers, and that continued in the fourth quarter. How big an effort was that for him?
Yeah, it was key. I thought Sean was big tonight. Not only those 2 last free throws, but he penetrated the lane and got some easy buckets for us when we were really out of it, and we were so fortunate. I think Sean was probably the key for us tonight.
One more thing I noticed, David, was a lot of talk as to whether or not to bring Cummings back, Terry Cummings, and I think tonight it really proved the point that you are a better team with him in there because of his experience, his ability to get to the board.
His toughness is the biggest thing. He's going to get in there, he's going to rebound, he's going to move some bodies out of there for you, and in a game against Portland where they've got a lot of big bodies, you need that, and Terry's just been a big plus for us, even though he's nowhere near full strength, obviously. Right. But, man, he's big for us leadership-wise. You know what you're going to get from him, and he came through big tonight. Big
as the third quarter came to an end, we had a shot of David heading toward the bench with a look on his face like this is going to be one of those nights. It's changed. It changed in 1 quarter.
It was
that smile has replaced it. An upset by the San Antonio Spurs here in Game 1. Let's go back to our TNT studios now. Here's Ernie Johnson.
All right, thank you, Pete. You're in that Pacific Division, Don Nelson. You've seen this before. A familiar scenario being played out by the Blazers, just throwing a ball game away.
Well, you know, they say that they'll always let you back in, and maybe it's time that we started to believe that. It was a gift. There's no question about it. The Blazers should have won the game. They gave it away. I know that they feel very badly right now about it, but it's over, and they're going to have to regroup. There goes the home court edge for the Portland Trail Blazers, but elsewhere tonight, all the other guys held serve as we take a look at the board. Rockets 117-94 winners over the Clippers. Elijah Wan had a huge night. Boston in the first game of our doubleheader tonight beat Charlotte 112-101. And New Jersey and Cleveland, the Cavs, 114-98 winners. 9 Cavaliers were in double figures. Inside the NBA comes up next. Fred Hickman and Vince Cellini at Michael Jordan's restaurant. You can get everything you want. And so many highlights you'll be begging us to stop. Now tomorrow night we got another doubleheader. I like that Chicago-Atlanta game 1 because you got Dominique Wilkins, Michael Jordan. That should be some fun. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And you know, it's not just winning the series, but it's trying to do away with the first opponents in 3 or 4 games. If the good teams take 5 games in the first and then a couple of 7s, they're going to be worn down, especially teams that have to be carried by a superstar like Michael Jordan. So you look to put those early opponents away as quick as you possibly can. Economy of effort in the first round. How about the Suns and the Lakers tomorrow night? That's game 2 of our doubleheader. Well, I like the Suns a lot. I just think that it's going to be an easy wrap-up for them. I don't think the Lakers are going to be much of a test at all. We'll see tomorrow night with another doubleheader. Here tonight, you saw Portland lose at home to the San Antonio Spurs, 87-86 the final. The Bud player of the game comes your way next when we send you back to Memorial Coliseum.
Well, there you see a surprising final here in Portland. They led by 15 in the third quarter at one point, but San Antonio back to win game 1, 87-86 is the final. Our Budweiser player of the game, Sean Elliott, you see the night he had. Most of the damage done in the second half, including the 2 game-winning free throws with 5.3 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and I think this is a guy that you'll see San Antonio use more and more of in this series. Portland just simply does not match up well with him. He was guarded by Porter and by Mario Elie most of the night. That's a size advantage to Sean Elliott, one that San Antonio must take advantage of.
Once again, the final score, 87-86. The Portland Trail Blazers falling to the San Antonio Spurs. Stay with TNT. NBA action continues next with Fred Hickman and Vince Cellini. NBA action tomorrow night as the Atlanta Hawks face the Chicago Bulls in Game 1. The LA Lakers face the Phoenix Suns, all here on TNT. Once again, tonight's final, San Antonio 87, Portland 86. For Jack Gibbons, Pete Van Weren saying good night from Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon.